The most expensive repair is the one you didn't see coming. Welcome to another episode of EV Charging Minute, your place to get some knowledge, sharing some tips, information, best practices for commercial EV charging. Just here helping people get answers to the questions, right? To understand this new kind of market that's out here, right? What is this all about, and what does it mean for my commercial property? That's what I'm here for. I'm Tony Booth, your host, founder of the show and founder of Stay in Charge, an EV charging service provider that helps everything in the commercial industry world, and a few other things that we do along the way, including some feasibility stuff. We have a couple different companies and brands underneath our umbrella that help everything from initial incentive planning and design considerations all the way through to operations, and then a whole big marketing side of it. So we have our hands in the pot here quite a bit with a lot of this stuff, so we understand it, and we're here trying to just share information with everybody. And as always, thanks for joining me. Be sure to click that subscribe button and share this out. Give us a rating. Tell us what you think, and if you need anything, any topics you want to hear, be glad to, kind of do research and give anybody feedback on anything they're running into. A lot of the topics we talk about come from either people writing in or people that were, questions we're our team's answering on a regular basis as well. So as always, thanks again for joining me, and let's jump into today's episode. And today, talk about, the expensive repair, not the one being that you didn't see coming, right? That happens. And a down charger has a huge ripple effect in the business model. If you, not to mention emergency truck rolls and everything else, but you're also losing revenue, you're impacting your customers, and this can be a small impact if you're an apartment complex with some level 2 chargers. To a huge impact if you're a bank of DC fast chargers in a high turnover environment, doing 150, 200 charges a day, right? If these things don't see them coming, things happen. When that goes down, it's got a huge ripple effect. And so the reactive approach, which is what most of it's been to date, we've talked about this in the past as well. The predictive approach is slow, right? It doesn't know what's happening. It's not paying attention, and we can run into a lot of issues. And so nowadays we're starting to see a lot more in predictive AI systems that can help avoid the downtime, avoid unnecessary truck rolls, and even predict, even let the technician know what to take with them. So this is all coming together. It's getting better and better as times go on. But basically what's happening is, because of the networks that are monitoring these chargers, and there's some companies out there that specialize in this, and then there's also some network providers that have built their own systems, and some of them even work together. So what you see is what's coming around, and what's starting to happen a lot is these new systems are tracking a lot more. They're paying a lot more attention to what's going on with that unit, because there are multiple data points inside of an operating charger, especially on the level 2 side. I mean, on the DC side, right? When you're talking about those DC chargers with all the things in there, there's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of data points that can be paid attention to, and having AI being able to watch that stuff and understand it, it helps to make some good understanding what's happening in that system. On the level 2 side, there's not as much to track, but there's still a lot of data we have. We know how many times things have been used. We know, right? And as we start building all this data and having AI look at it, we can start to say, hey, we're realizing about after 10,000 cycles that this particular model of charger starts to have this happen, right? So there's a lot of things going on there. What's really nice about it, what it's doing, the right systems, what they're doing is they're kind of creating that digital twin of your charger. And we know what the charger should look like, what the state should be when it's running in its perfect state. We know what the thermal temperature should be in the cables, and we know how fast it should ramp up in charging speed, and we know we know so many things about what it should be doing. So we're watching and now comparing what the charger in real life is doing compared to that ideal state. Uh, and the good systems, when they're networked and have enough data, right, can compare that to other chargers and other things that are happening in a similar market, right? Because there are different impacts to, you think about measuring the thermal fluctuations in things. Well, if it's 110 degrees out in the desert versus 70 degrees or 50 degrees, those thermal changes could be impacted by some weather as well. So the good systems are not just paying attention to a single charger. They're understanding how that works throughout, and they can really pay attention to, okay, here's the scenario of what this charger should be doing. We do know that this same particular charger over here is performing this way, and it's a year and a half old as well. So here's what this one should be doing based on what we know. And by doing that, it can start to identify things that are, potential failures, right? If we see power fluctuations, we know that there's probably something that's, kind of having an issue here. Maybe a capacitor is having some struggles. And so we can start to see that and see if it clears out or what happens with it. If we start to see communication problems or latency, we can be like, okay, is there something going on with the antenna, something with the modem, internet service, whatever the different things that we have going on. This allows us to start to see those things, those common failure points, and understand them. And again, when we're comparing this data over multiple chargers, multiple networks, multiple use cases, we can really start to see, oh, after this, we're starting to see these kind of things happen, which helps us a lot, right? It's going to help us in saving that truck roll, saving that downtime. These systems, when implemented properly and paying attention to stuff, we can start to know ahead of time. We can prepare for things that might happen. We can send truck rolls with equipment already with us. If we've seen that power fluctuation and we're running in, we're seeing it continue to get higher and higher, then we might say, okay, well, we're going to roll this truck, but we're going to send these pieces with it. We're going to take that with us. So instead of going out, technician opens up the machine, does his diagnosis, finds out this part or this part needs to be replaced, order it, come back. We take it all with us, and we got a single truck roll. Another thing that AI's, starting to do, these systems are allowing themselves to do, is they can do a lot of the manual rebooting, the firmware updates, a lot of things that were typically left to the network operating center are now being done automatically. The AI is already seeing this stuff, and they're already being able to go out and kind of get ahead of the game. So these systems, this predictive and analytics and maintenance systems, they're there to help us to make changes to fix things before the failure, because that's how we avoid, the losses, the things that are going to impact us, the larger, fall off of that. Lost revenue, emergency truck rolls, multiple trips. You start taking that out, you're saving 10, 20% on your maintenance easily every year. So the little bit of cost that is added to your, your annual fees is minimal compared to what it can save you. So these things are, in our opinion, if you have, just from general knowledge of this, if you have a DC fast charger out there and you're in any type of public service, customer service, things like that, if you don't have this predictive and analytics going, you're just asking for, some future troubles that are just really not worth it. It's these things are almost a must have on a DC fast charging side. On the L2 side, we don't put a whole lot of ours on the AI systems yet, because it's a little bit more than they need, but we do have AI in the background on our overall system. Like we're not monitoring that specific charger, but we are monitoring our whole system, how it runs. So, if we've got 250 certain types of chargers out there that, okay, we're starting to see that these things have been in the field for 6 years or 5 years, and we're starting to see that we're replacing cables or we're replacing modems. We can start to, the AI can at least take the overall data of what we're doing and say, hey, these machines, we've now identified this particular model of machine with this particular modem in it. The modem has a 6-year lifespan. Let's start, getting ready. And next time a truck's out by any of those machines, let's replace those modems before we have failures. Right. So there's a lot that can be done with it. So what you want to do is make sure that you are getting the right network provider, the right service provider to work with you on this. And when you start, talking to the different providers out there and seeing what they're doing, one thing I would say, first of all, is understand that, and this works for any data, right? Any system like this is only as good as the data. So understand how they're collecting that data, how it operates. Is it pinging that machine every 15 minutes, every 5 minutes, every 1 minute? It should be more than, it should be more than once a minute. That we should be monitoring this stuff regularly. Is your service provider connected and sharing with other service providers and networks, or just their own? Is it universal data? That's a big thing for us when we were looking at who we were going to work with on this. We wanted to make sure that we were sharing our data with others and others were sharing back with us. And our system was working with, not just our chargers, but other people's, because that full picture, now we start getting a lot more data on how these chargers perform. And that AI knows, oh, well, this particular network over here, we're starting to, they put these chargers in a year before you did, but here's what we're seeing over there, right? Like the AI knows that stuff and can start doing it and putting it all together. We're not, calling each other up, but that platform in the background uses our data and other people's data. So, is it a must-have to have that shared data? No, but it definitely helps. This just helps understand the system better, right? Understands and gives that AI better predictability. And then I'd ask is it fully integrated? Is it working inside a system? Is it inside your OCPP system? How does it all work? Like, is it taking care of everything? Like, couple things we wanted to make sure of is that our system that was analyzing was also working with our ticket systems, our help desk systems, and all those things, so that everything was getting kind of coordinated. And then the AI is actually set up, the system we work with is actually set up to automatically create the tickets as needed, get a final sign off before they're sent out to a technician, but it's all kind of handled and integrated. So we're not having that wasted time, right? So that's some stuff that's really important there. The other thing I would ask anybody that you're talking to about this, do they stand behind that uptime, and how do they, what is their promise there, or their stand, how do they stand behind that? And you're not going to find, be cautious here, right? You're not going to find somebody that's willing to pay you lost revenue. Okay. There's too many things that we don't know, can't control there, and we're not insurance companies. But, if they promise to be somewhere and have you back up and running in 24 hours, or they promise 99% uptime, what happens when they don't hit that uptime? Is it just a little bit of credit? Is it, what is the stick, I guess you could say, right? Like, everybody can say, oh, I'll do this or that, but what is the stick that they're going to do? So that's another thing I would double check with everybody. How do they stand behind their thing? And just make sure that you're, again, if you're DC fast charging, make sure you're getting this. If you're L2, find out what they're doing to monitor your chargers, right? And find out what they're doing to help you be predictive on stuff there. You may not want to pay a fee to have your level 2 charger monitored, because there's just one of the things there's just not as many data points as, and there's not as much failure on the L2 side. So don't get wrapped around the axle too much about monitoring your, having AI, monitoring that single charger on the L2 side, but your service provider ought to be monitoring that stuff, and they ought to be coming to you saying, hey, here's what we're seeing about year 4 on this. We recommend this. So see what they're doing there, and get out there and make sure you got it. So actions out of today. I'd like to make sure we walk out of here with some action items or some things for you to, kind of think about. If you have an existing system, you already got chargers in, and you're, trying to figure out how to get the best out of them. And in this situation, talk to your platform provider. Do they have predictive and analytics and AI systems? What are they doing with that? On the L2 side, again, do they have it? What is it? How's it fit with what you need? On the DC side, make sure you get it, right? Like if they have it, get it. If it's going to impact your customers, make sure you have this here. And if they don't have it, then ask them what their plans are. Are they working on this? Are they working with some? Because all this stuff takes time to build and get connected in. So, I wouldn't expect that you're going to call every single CPO out there, every software manufacturer out there, and they're going to have AI predictive analytics today. Some of them, I'm sure they'd all have it on their roadmap, but these things take time. So if you're existing, see what they're doing, see what you have, see what's out there. If you got DC chargers, I'd say get something going. Now, if you're new, looking at putting in a new system, then here's where you want to look at this stuff and make sure that you're researching your potential partners right, so that you're getting the right partners that are going to have this for you. Again, L2 side, what I'd really be asking, what do you do and how do you compare my particular chargers to others in your network? What are you doing to predictive work on the L2s as a whole? I don't really, we don't do any monitoring on any of ours, down to the charger side. Like we don't have AI sitting there measuring that exact charger. Again, like I said, we have it more monitoring our overall fleet and looking for trends in the fleet. But if you're putting in new and you're doing DC, then I would say that AI and predictive analytics is a must-have, right? Make sure your service provider, provides this, and they're committed to keeping you up and running. That's the important thing. When you have customers coming in, you have people coming back to use your chargers, we need to be there for them and we need to be reliable. So make sure your service provider is doing everything they can to help you stay alive, stay reliable. So don't settle for fix it when it breaks, right? Make sure your system is protected with smart monitoring and analytics so you can avoid costly failures. Check in with us next week. Next week, we're going to jump into green loans, PACE financing, and other ways to finance your EV charging projects. A lot of good opportunities out there, a lot of things going on with that, and just want to share some of that with you. All right. So that is all for today, everybody. Again, thanks as always for being here. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that share button, let people know about us, and reach out to me if you have any questions, comments. And as always, I hope you learned something new today, or at least got a little bit of something to think about here. And enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next week.